Thanks, everyone. This is Reverend Ruth on Starry Bar with Angel Healing Ministries. And I am here in my sanctuary once more. It has been beautiful. It has been a couple of beautiful days out there. We've had a lot of rain as well. But we do go through, our March. Well, we're not in March now, we're in April. Spring has always been known to be kind of an unpredictable season because you never know how it's going to turn out. Usually what we consider March is considered the windy month, whereas April is considered the rainy month. And that is all true, my friends. But anywho, this is Reverend Ruth on Starry Bar with Angel Healing Ministries, and I'd like to welcome you once again to my sanctuary. We're going to be talking about a couple things today. I was thinking of talking about how many of you have had the have heard the term the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step, and we'll get into that and cover a couple bits and pieces of it. Perhaps we'll turn it into a simple little series where we'll talk about different things on which we'll find in a journey of 1,000 miles when you take the first step. We might have talked about this in the past in a different kind of form, but it still talks about the same journey that we've all been on all our lives, my friends. But let me first start with the mission statement. Our mission is to guide you on your path to find God and to support you as we support you with love and light along the way, and show you how important truth and faith are on your path back to God, and show you how important truth and faith are on your path back to God. Thanks. And this is true. We all, as I said many times before, faith and truth are very important bits and pieces of our stories, of all our stories that we have. When we look at truth and faith, we find that it leads us on and continues helps us to continue forward, my friends, in life itself. Excuse me, it's a little. So we talk. We're talking about it's as we know, truth and faith. Once again, we're going back to truth and faith. As we know, truth and faith are important on our journey, because truth and faith are like the things that keep us together, my friends. If we don't have our faith, what do we have to believe in? And our truth is we all dream to live our truth. And it's always best to live our truth, my friends, because when we live our truth, we have a happier life, a better life, you see? And that is why we love to live our truth, my friends. In the meantime, though, we're going to talk a bit about the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. And that's a very popular saying. I first heard it in a TV movie called Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. It starred Carradine and Chris Potter, I think it was, and Carradine was basically a Shaolin priest that came to America, or maybe the United States, or maybe he lived already in the United States, and he came over here to connect with his family and stuff like that. And then his son is a cop, and together they find themselves on many great adventures. It was one of my favorite shows with growing up back in the day. It was I enjoyed it a great deal. Even the old kung fus were really amazing. But I felt, in many ways, if you look at the old kung fu as well as the the newer one that was out there, The Legend Continues, it has a lot of adventure in it. It has a lot of danger, as well as a lot of spiritual messages underneath during the show. And you get to learn, you can train yourself to see those. But that was where I first heard that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. And basically, as I said in the past, that 1,000-mile journey begins with one step. It's our step, and we may not know what path we're stepping on, but if we focus and go into a meditative state, we can find that path that we're searching for. Along the journey that we're going to be that we take for 1,000 miles, we will find and discover things like self-discovery. We will come across what we call safe havens. We will come across obstacles and challenges in our lives, and we'll learn about acceptance as well as forgiveness. And it's a whole kind of connection. It's a whole what's the word I'm looking for, my friends? It's everything that God intended us to know about. It gives us opportunities to learn and learn about stuff, learn about ourselves as well. And along the way, help other people as we're meant to help other people. When we talk about self-discovery, my friends, is an important part of our lives, because with self-discovery, there are so many different ways that we can do self-discovery with ourselves. We can meditate, we can pray, we can find it through music, through poetry, through writing, general writing, through dance. There's just so many different things that I can't think of. Those are just a few that I know of that help with self-discovery, because self-discovery is all about learning about ourselves, going within and finding out who we truly are. And the self-discovery usually comes to be an adventure for many of us. There's different stories that I've heard from friends. When I was living in Arizona, there was a story that a friend told me about him he was on a vision quest, and he was thirsty, and he went to a water hole, and at that same water hole was a mountain lion. And he said that if we don't show fear, then that we can get along with nature in harmony. At least this person did. And he basically acknowledged that it was the mountain lion's territory, but he said kindly to the mountain lion that he said that he was thirsty, and would it be okay if he drank from the same water hole? And from what I heard, the mountain lion acknowledged him and in a way nodded that he could, so they were drinking from the same water hole. And then they went on their separate ways. I'm wondering, you know what that would say to me? You know how people say mountain lions are dangerous? Perhaps one of my friend's totems was a mountain lion, and that is why the mountain lion and him got along. You see, as we're on our self-discovery, as we're on that journey of 1,000 miles, we will discover things about ourselves that we did not know, or perhaps we did know, but we forgot when we came here, because part of our journey here to this world, to this place called Earth School, my friends, is where we sit in heaven. And I've said this numerous times before. We sit in heaven at a table with God, and we talk about the life that we want to lead and that we want to do, and who we want to be friends with, what families we want to be a part of, what we want to do in life, what we want to do to come back to who we are, to find ourselves, to find our destiny. And when we come to the earth, when we go down like that star, and we come to the earth, we come in as babies, and we remember all this until when we're babies and children, we're very close to God, the source itself, my friends. We're close to that source, and we remember all this until we are touched by life itself, you see, my friends. As we're growing through life, we learn about fear, we learn about right and wrong, we learn about all these things. We learn about how what we believe in isn't true, or this is wrong, that is wrong. And we believe all this stuff. And it doesn't happen with everybody that comes. It's just some families. But when we come here to this world that he spoke with God in heaven, one of our things is that we are to forget, only to find our way back. And many of you might have heard that before. And that is why we experience things like deja vu. Because deja vu is a form of I've been here before, or feeling that I've been here before. Or, for example, my friends, you go someplace and you seem to know where everything is, and you've never been to that place in this lifetime. But perhaps in spirit, because when we sleep at night, and we'll discover this as well on that same journey, and during our self-discovery, at night, our spirit travels on a thing called the astral plane. And this astral plane, the way I see it, my friends, and you'll learn about that too during this journey of 1,000 miles. The astral plane is a place that we travel through, and there are all these doors on these different roads that we come across. It's like being on a crossroads, and like the astral plane is like the main road, and there are all these turnoffs. There are all these doors that you can go through, and you go through a certain door because you feel drawn to it, and you're in a whole nother existence. Like, there are women that say, I remember being Cleopatra in a past life. And what it really is, perhaps their spirit traveled in a dream to the time that Cleopatra existed. So while your spirit was there, experienced what Cleopatra went through. I'm not saying you couldn't have been Cleopatra in a past life, but I think all different lifetimes, my friends, and you'll discover this too as well as on this journey. I think, and I've heard it too, that all these different lifetimes are happening all at the same time. My friend Mark likes to put it this way. One of the things he said at one of his vortex groups at one point was that there are all these different Earths out there, and each Earth has a different existence, a different life. And that we are in the life, we're on the Earth that's experiencing this and this. And on another Earth, people are experiencing a whole different experience, you see. It's interesting, and it's hard to prove that these things truly exist. But when you're very sensitive and you're connected to the source, like many of us are, we can reach that connection. As well as during our self-discovery and our journey that we're taking in life. We learn so much. We learn about hope. We learn about faith and truth and everything you can think of under the sun. We are faced with challenges and obstacles. We stumble, we fall, we get back up. We learn to overcome. Or perhaps we don't learn the lesson right away and we run into that same obstacle another area down the road of our journey, our journey of 1,000 miles. And we run into that again. If you do not learn the obstacle, the challenge, at that moment, you're going to be faced with that same thing again. That's why they say, and this was in a movie called What Dreams May Come, that when one commits suicide, that they get stuck in between the worlds. They get stuck in what is called purgatory. And they're stuck there because suicide is not the way out of this world. It's the wrong way to go out of this world. The best way to go out of this world is it's the time that God wants you to go out of this world. But when one does that, and if you've seen the movie Where Dreams May Come, and I think Robin Williams was in that one, it talks about this one artist of what she did and where she got stuck, and that her love went after her to save her. So you don't want to make that mistake and do that, because you'll be stuck somewhere in life, and you want to not do that. And perhaps someone will come to rescue you, but I would recommend not taking that way. I think the best way is to go when the time is right, when God calls us home is the best time, my friends. But there are so many things on this journey of 1,000 miles that you learn, especially when you discover a lot about yourself. And one of the other important things that we learn on that journey is forgiveness. And you've heard me talk about forgiveness before. I'm just giving you some brief summaries because we're talking about the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. And these are just different things and different factors that happen in life and things that we learn along our journey as well. But during self-discovery, there is so much to learn. We discover that we can write, that we can sing, that we can dance. There's just so much to learn in that self-discovery of ourselves. And when we discover that, as we go through our journey through meditation and dance, because some of us may have a challenge where getting into meditative state is a challenge, so we have to find another way to get to that meditative state. One of my challenges with meditation was, in the beginning, I couldn't exactly sit and meditate and be quiet. I had to get to that point through dance. And once I mastered that, I found it a lot easier to go into a meditative state in my life and do things, that way. So dance was one of my ways to go to meditate. And as time went on, my friends, I found it easier to meditate and go into prayer, you see. But as we continue along this journey, not only do we discover what we can do, we discover our gifts and our skills. We are given clues that lead us to our destiny, that are given to us. And along our journey that we take, that is 1,000 miles, we learn we learn and we meet all these different mentors and people that will A, guide us, B, be karmic, C, will go with us, will journey with us, D, will travel with us for a little while and then go our separate ways, and then it goes on and on. Because life has so much to offer, my friends, and we learn a great deal on that journey that we take. We learn about acceptance, accepting our situation where we are, and it's not easy for many of us. If we're going through a tough time in life, my friends, it's not easy for many of us to accept where we are. But the secret is to accept where we are, because the sooner we accept where we are, the better. You see, my friends? The better we are when we learn to accept and we learn to follow it. We learn to go with that acceptance. And once we accept, we find it easier to move forward in life. And we also learn about forgiveness on this journey of 1,000 miles. And in our self-discovery, too, you will come across things of forgiveness. You see, that journey of 1,000 miles that begins with one step is our life, what is happening right here, right now. It's just different for everybody. We learn to overcome. We stumble and fall. We get ourselves back up. When we want to see challenges before us or obstacles, we can always go into meditation and prayer and ask for God to give us a sign, to let us know when we're walking into a dark space. Unless we're meant to learn from that space, ask God to let us know when that is coming. That was one of the things I asked God in the past. I said, God, after the many breakups that I went through in my life, I finally said, God, if I'm going to be with someone again, let me see the signs if there is anything ahead that I need to be aware of, that I need to that I need to know about. Let me see what it is that I need to know about where I'm going with this relationship or this job or career. And you can ask these questions of God to show them to you. And in time they are revealed, in time they are not. Perhaps it's something that you need to learn on your own. I'm still learning about many things on my journey. I may be a minister now, and I've been a minister since November 12th, 2000, but I'm still on a journey. I'm still looking for that destiny. I thought many times in my life, on my journey, I knew what my destiny was. And when I got really close to that destiny, the winds changed and I wound up in another direction. Perhaps it's all leading up to that in the end, my friends. But perhaps one day I will see it clearly. And let me go on, and I'll see that end clearly. I'll see that destiny. Perhaps I already know that destiny, but I'm not exactly aware of it. Or perhaps I'm in it at the moment. You see, there are just so many things that we're learning each and every day, my friends. And one of the other things we will learn on our journey of 1,000 miles and during our self-discovery is forgiveness. Because in life, my friends, we will come across people that will hurt us and that we may hurt them, but not purposely. And we have to learn to forgive ourselves each and every time. Forgiveness is one of the trickier things on this journey. It's not always easy to forgive certain things in life. But you'll see, my friends, when you forgive, things will go a lot smoother than they ever have. The more we forgive, the better. And not only is it forgiving the person, but forgiving ourselves as well. We sometimes need to understand that everything that happens in life is not always our faults. Things just happen sometimes in life, and we have to accept them. But there's always a way to get past that, because God is never very far away, my friends. Life will throw challenges at us. Life will throw curveballs, but only because on this journey and self-discovery, it's all about how much faith do we have in ourselves, how much courage, and we'll learn about that as well. How much courage do we carry, or do we or do we focus on? When is our courage needed, and when is it not? Being courageous every day is important, because when you're ready and courageous, it's easier to handle things in a better way, my friends. And there's just so many other things to think about. And one of the other things that we run into is negative and positive. There was a time, and I still do it every once in a while, I'll focus on the negative. But it's not a good thing. It's always better to focus on the good. If there's a negative, learn from it, my friends. Don't dwell on the negative that has happened. Learn from that negative. So if it were to come up again, you'll know how to handle it. Or perhaps you'll meet someone along the way that you can help. Always stay focused on the positive or the good in life. Because when you look at a situation and see the good in it, it's better. But it's so much easier to see the negative, because the negative is so much bigger than the positive. So it takes a lot of energy within us to overcome the negatives. The universe has a balance of both negative and positive. We need both in the world, my friends. Because if we're all one and not the other, it can lead to an unsettling balance, an unbalanced situation. Because let's say if you go more into the negative, that's all you'll receive, and that's based on the law of attraction. If you focus on the positive, and we can't always be aware of what we say or what we do, but we can always catch it. But the more we focus on that positive, the more we bring that into us, our lives. And when we get more focused on it, one of the other things we'll learn on this journey of 1,000 miles and during our self-discovery, that we have a gift to manifest certain things in our lives, as long as we believe and bring God into it. Because God is always ready for us. They're always there to help us through anything. They're there to listen to us if we feel challenged or unsure of things, my friends. But this journey that we speak of, the journey of 1,000 miles, begins with just one step. My friends, you are already on that journey. You are on the self-discovery you are searching for. You will come across many things. And I recommend, my friends, keeping a journal, because your experience will one day shed light for another, my friends. So remember, each and every day when you wake up, look out that window and be grateful for the day that the Lord has made, and be glad in that day. I may not have said that correctly, but treat every day as a beautiful day. because even if it's raining or snowing or cold, it's still as beautiful as ever. Be prepared for any gifts or blessings you may come across, and you will see those too on this journey of 1,000 miles that you're taking, my friends. But know that you are not alone on this journey, that God is with you, and God has put people into place to guide you on this journey, my friends. So stay open, be aware, know that God is watching over you and guiding you. Thanks. We love you. Namaste. And if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe. We love you. Namaste. And this is Reverend Ruth on Starya Bar with Angel Healing Ministries. We'll see you real soon, and blessings. And by the way, happy Palm Sunday. And those of you who know what Palm Sunday is, look at your Palm Sunday as it being special. Thanks. We love you. Namaste.